lot of people wanted to know what's the status of future Star Trek.
Star Trek, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It may or may not happen. It's not like I get updates. It's just I haven't heard anything for a long time. The last time I spoke about it, there were no immediate plans. One thing I did mention when I spoke about it recently is that for us, losing Anton Yelchin the way we did was a real blow, and I think it slightly took the wind out of our sails in terms of our enthusiasm to do another one, just because we're now missing one of our family, and it would be, he would be conspicuous by his absence, and I think in some respects we're all still in contact. We were emailing with each other the other day, just saying, checking in, how are we and stuff. But it's not like any of us have been banging on the door at Paramount saying, hey, when are we doing this? If they say we'd like to do another movie, I'm sure we'll all jump at the chance. I miss those guys, and I love making those films, but I just don't know. Noah Hawley's project has been mentioned, and maybe that will happen. I don't know anything about that. So yeah, I'm as in the dark as everyone else. I'm in the same boat as you guys.
The thing that's interesting about Trek right now is you have a lot of series. They just announced the Pike series this morning for CBS All Access. There's a lot going on the small screen. And that leads to sort of, I guess what I'm wondering is, for Star Trek on the big screen, I think there's two ways. You can either do the big budget, mega action, or has there been ever any talk about doing, I don't want to say a micro budget Star Trek movie, but a much lower budget Star Trek movie that maybe allows for more sci-fi and stuff that isn't a 4-quadrant movie? So it's sort of like maybe aiming at the hardcore Trek fans and not making it at such a large budget.
Yeah, I think that would be a good idea. Of course, Star Trek has its appeal, and that appeal can be converted into numbers, which can, an accountant can figure out. And the fact is, the appeal of Star Trek is slightly more niche than the appeal of say the Marvel movies, which make huge amounts of money and have this really, really broad appeal, and they do very well. I think Star Trek is just a little bit more niche, so it isn't going to hit those kind of numbers. So yes, the obvious thing to do would be to create not go for that massive spectacle, go for something a little bit more restrained in the vein of the original series. Yes, that would be a brilliant thing to do, and I'm sure it probably has been discussed. But who knows? I don't know. It's one of those kind of frustrating questions, because I wish I had more to say about it. I totally agree with you. I think that would be something that you specialize a little bit more. It's a weird one, and maybe TV is a better place for it now. Now we're dealing with television has evolved so much. It's become something which is very much a contemporary, a peer of cinema. It's simply viewed in a different way, and but the scope of it isn't a reduced scope anymore. You can still do masses of interesting things, and it can still look modern and not inexpensive. And maybe television is a better format for Star Trek. That's where it started,
Yeah, I would love to see a Star Trek 8-episode or 10-episode series featuring all of you guys. I would love it, and I think that fans would love it. I know it's not going to happen because I just doubt it, but man, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'd love to work with those guys again, and obviously Star Trek is very dear to me, and so we'll see what the future holds.